There we go. All right. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. I know there's possibly some still coming over from the last call, which you guys did an amazing job on that. So congrats on that. That was awesome. You guys, the reason I asked Samantha and Ray to join us on this call was because sometimes I think people can get kind of discouraged. We know that in 14 months, I was at a Pro 8. We know Tanya, she was Pro 7 in about that time. And I think Leslie was Pro 7 in 11 months. And, there's been people that have done it so quickly. But there's other people that it's taken time. And I find that what is so inspirational is that they never gave up and they never quit. And it wasn't, it wasn't because they weren't doing anything. It wasn't because they weren't doing it right. It was just sometimes these businesses are either meant to come to us quickly or they're meant to come to us at a slower rate. And I believe there's reasons for that. I feel because I did move quickly, there's a lot that I missed. I missed a lot of personal growth. I missed a lot of learning how to be a leader, right? And so when you get someone like Samantha and Ray, they have experience. They are exceptional leaders. I've had the pleasure of getting to know them at Ireland's. And I just kind of watch what they do, and they are unbelievable leaders. And anyways, you guys, I wanted to bring them on because I want them to tell you their story, kind of why they got into it. But, I just want I want you to tell the team, I don't know, did you get discouraged at times? Did you feel like maybe you weren't going to do it? What kept you going? And here you are. So if you just want to mute yourself.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
We're so happy to be here. And I'm sorry for the, just the back and forth of I hope it was okay for everybody that we did the presentation first and hopped on after. So, we wanted to be with you guys and it's really an honor, Laura-Lee, to be asked. We're so grateful to be here with you guys. And I love that, that's one of the things I love about our story is that it was not the Speedy Gonzalez to the top, right? In fact, it was quite the opposite. We started out 6.5 years ago. And when we started, I had, like you might have heard, if you heard my story before, or our story before, is that we were a military couple. We weren't stationed together. Ray was heading out on a 10-month deployment when we signed up for this. And we had our oldest daughter with us. She was only a year old when we got started in this. So we did not have ideal circumstances, but we said, we saw that this was our answer, that literally exactly what we were praying for was a solution to the not having time together. And once you realize that you have the thing that God's calling you to, once you have the truth, you commit to it. You commit to it like you commit to a marriage. You commit to it like any contract that you're serious about. Mm-hmm. And for us, that meant there's no exit plan. Like there's no, well, if this doesn't work in a year, then we're out. Or if it doesn't work in 2 years, then we're out. Or 3 or 4. And the definition of work, like what would it even mean, like if it worked or not, it's like you work it. And when the time is right, it will come to fruition the way you want it to. But it took us a long time.
And we had a lot of, I don't want to call them opportunities, but a lot of reasons where a lot of people would quit. I mean, and in the last, 6.5 years, we moved like 8 or 9 times. We've had so many excuses not to do things, but we decided that because we didn't have an exit plan, we burnt the boats and realized that, even if it took us 20 years of doing this, it would be 20 years well spent to reach Elite Pro 7. And, really another funny thing is like, what would it look like if you quit?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what would our lives look like if we quit? What would we be giving up? Like, what would look differently? And, there wasn't ever really an option like, oh, we'll try it out until this happens. Like, no, we were going to figure it out one way or another.
Yeah. So I think sometimes, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say, like, if you looking at your guys now, your Elite Pro 7s, and you're probably going, oh, thank God we didn't quit. Like, you know, like.
Yeah. Well, it's funny though, because like, while there were times that were discouraging, there was never a time where we were like, maybe we'll just quit.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that's kind of Ray's point, because he's like, what would quitting even look like? Like, does that mean you go to a different company and do this? Like, for us, no way. To us, it's like, okay, marriage isn't working out. I guess I'll just go to no, you married your husband. Like, we commit, you know? It's like, we knew that LifeVantage was a thing. And I think that's another point about how you have to build your belief in LifeVantage so big, because if you are still wavering, if there's something that could make you shake on this, then to me, it means that you don't know that this is the place yet that you need to be for your life, you know?
And we saw people rocket to success, you know, we didn't, you know, fall to the comparatitis. We didn't compare ourselves to other people, because in doing that, you know, you give away all your power, right? So if you compare yourself to people who come in with huge influences, you know, we would be demoralized. And that would be another reason to say, like, oh man, this isn't working for us. Let's get out of here. You know, never took the victim mindset. We figured out, okay, if they can do it, that's hope. It's not a zero-sum game. Life is not a zero-sum game. Business is a zero-sum game. Just because someone else is having, you know, rocketing to success doesn't mean that takes success or opportunity away from us. It just means that that's possible. So when you flip the paradigm and think about it that way, you know, every time we saw people succeed so quickly, and we've seen it a lot of times over the years, you know, we never said, oh man, I wish that was us. You know, why can't we get it done? We're like, oh man, that means they did it. Let's learn from them. So, you know, and never taking the victim mindset, because as soon as you take that and comparing yourself to the people, you lose all power over your situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, the thing for us was, okay, we're just going to focus. We're not going to worry about, we'll celebrate other people's success, because that means it's possible for us. But, you know, we're going to run our race and just keep doing the next right thing. And the next right thing turned out to be 6.5 years over and over again to hit Pro 7. And people always ask, like, oh, like, what's the secret sauce? How are they growing so quickly? You know, like, okay, like your social media stuff that you guys do, like, what is real secret sauce? What are you really doing? Like, all of our trainings, what we do is out there. We've told everyone, you know, 1,000 people have used it. And the secret sauce isn't like something we're holding back. The secret sauce is the grit and the perseverance to do the silly, you know, simple things over and over again until, not until I am, you know, my next birthday, or not until, you know, spring, you know what I mean? It's until, you know, and that's hard for people to really, you know, buy into, but that all comes back to believing in the company, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And personal, I mean, literally on our daily checklist for our team, and what we say, hey, this is how we did what we did. It starts at the very top with the personal growth. It's a minimum of 15 minutes of mindset. So like reading a book on mindset, you know, or listening to audios or things like that. And then 15 minutes of learning about network marketing, building your belief in network marketing. So a lot of times people kind of overlook that. They say, well, just give us the real stuff. Like, give us the real stuff. And it's like, what is the real stuff? Like, it's all the things. You can't skip over it. And, you know, our daily checklist that we follow and teach, if you sat down and did it every single day intentionally, it would take an hour, even with the personal development like in there. But so many people, it's like, who did we hear from? Brian Tracy. So many people overlook the small things. You know, we heard from him on stage at Kansas City. It's like so many people, they overlook the small things, and that's what successful people do not overlook. They major in the minor things, right? And so that to me is, I think that we believed that so wholeheartedly from the very beginning. And I don't know, I guess a lot of people could have called us dumb or idealistic, and I think a lot of people did. I think a lot of people did. I mean, fortunately, not too many to our face, but I think a lot of people still are sitting there like, oh, when are these guys going to give it up? And I don't think they have any clue, which is another point about, don't ever let somebody, you know, who knows less about LifeVantage or knows less about network marketing tell you anything about LifeVantage or network marketing.
Or change your opinion.
They're simply unqualified to give their opinion if they know less about it than you do. And so I think so many people get rattled by other people's opinions, and that's why we say double down on the personal development, because if that can shake you, then anything can shake you, then a circumstance can shake you, you know? And so our journey literally was it took us about a year to get to Pro 1 and Pro 2. It took us another whole year to just get to Pro 3, another year to a year and a half to get to Pro 4 and barely maintain it. We were like, oh, there's Pro 4 and now we're down. There, it's kind of there again and we're down. And we did that for the first 4 years of our business. But we went to every single event, went to like literally every one, except for when he was deployed. Those were the only ones he missed.
But you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, even though we had 3 more babies along the way and we were moving a bunch of times, like we were there because we were committed. And so when you go, even if you're going to them, and we would get to certain points where we were like, man, we're such like, we're never ranked. Like we're
such posers.
Yeah, we were like, oh my goodness, we're here at another event and we haven't ranked advanced. Like, but it didn't mean we were gonna quit. It just meant, okay, we gotta keep going and keep doing the things day in and day out. And then finally, we had a pretty pivotal moment in 2016, end of 2016. We qualified by barely. I mean, we scraped and clawed to figure a way to qualify for the Cancun incentive trip. And those things, I mean, well, you know, Laura Lee, because you've been on the incentive trips, and anybody who's ever been on one, it's like Elite Academy, except you're sitting in a pool with all the top earners for hours, just relaxing and getting that like you get really down to brass tacks. You get to learn a lot there. And we had some aha moments. We met some awesome leaders that were growing super fast in the company, and we got to learn from them, and they were so gracious to share what they were doing. And it shifted everything. And for us, it was really learning about the whole way the world kind of shifted, and the way people communicate is a little different than it was 10 years ago. You know, the phone calls and the emails are not as big of a thing for people. People like to text, people like to do social media. And so when we learned that and we got trained on that, we implemented that in our business in 2017, and it literally has never been the same. I mean, it's just grown and grown and grown, and it duplicates. It's been duplicating. And so I don't know.
But it also took 4 years to get to that point where we were even in the position to learn that.
Yeah.
So there were 4 years of reasons to walk away or quit, but we weren't those people who quit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think in those 4 years, you learned so much in those 4 years, like you said, that got you there. But I mean, you know, some people, they do get in that rut where they're like, oh, it's been 4 years. Why am I not an elite yet? Why am I not this yet? But when you think about what you said about learning in those 4 years, if you would have went to school for 4 years with a tuition through the roof, God knows what the tuitions are these days, and then, you know, you would have, so say you went to be a lawyer that makes good money, right? But then you have all that debt and you had all that time, and in the end, some people kind of get where they're tired of waiting. It's been 4 years. What do I do? But I look at it as, for myself even, you know, 2 years to Pro 8, while I'm making in a month what I used to make in a year, let alone what I'm going to make in the next 4 years, probably might be what I would have made in my entire career, right? So we have to look at what it would have took us, like 50 years in a job to get your pension. You know, what is your pension going to be? $1 million? I'm not really sure on that, but the time difference. Yeah,
they're gone.
Yeah, I mean, our reality, you know, being a military family is this, you know, I have 10 years active duty right now as a pilot, and I would need to do another 10 years to reach 20 just to get half of my base pay now for the rest of my life, right? I mean, we had that retirement covered by the time we were Pro 6s. You know what I mean? So that, you know, and that took years. What would have taken us 20 years, you know.
Multiple deployments.
Another 10 years of me being in the Navy means probably another 4 deployments, probably another 4 years away from my family in places I don't want to be. Thank God people do it. And, you know, it was a great ride, and I'm so grateful for the experiences I've had. But, you know, for our family, it was just time to do something else. And, you know, now that we're Pro 7, we make almost triple what a 20-year retirement would be. And I'm at 10 years. So, you know, it's like cognitive dissonance. People who don't understand what we know, it's so hard for them to understand how I'm walking away from the Navy. They're like, oh my goodness, you crazy? And I'm like, you just want to download your brain so they understand the power of the leveraged income. It's insane. You know what I mean? And like, we knew it was what we wanted, but we didn't.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. We literally have 9 kids in our house right now, so no worries.
It was actually the cat.
So funny.
So, I mean, like, if you could just download your brain in other people's brains, unfortunately, you can't do that. But again, we knew that this is what we were looking for. We knew there was a way to have, leverage residual income. We just didn't know what network marketing was really. But now that we know it, it's just insane. You can't even tell your family what it means, because they don't even get it either a lot of times. You know what I mean? They've been watching us along the way. Sam's whole family, all of her parents and siblings are distributors. My siblings and parents take the product, but I think they're still like, do they really make that? Like, they've seen the charts and everything. Like,
they're worried.
I still think they're like worried because I'm getting out of the Navy, in a couple of months here. But like,
they don't know. Yeah, they don't know. And
you can't explain, and that's okay. But like, the peace of mind, guys, I'll say this, of the elite income is insane. You can't put a number of years that would be worth to go through in order to reach that. So for us, our reality would have been another 10 years in the Navy to get half of what we're making now for the rest of our life, which means me being on for another 5 years. But we created that, we doubled that in 6 years in LifeVantage. So we turned a 30-year career essentially into 6 years.
And there's not a whole lot of better options even,
Show me another way an average dude or average people can do that. There's just no way to access it, unless you're a professional athlete and get a shoe deal where you write a book. Like, I'm not a brilliant person. I'm not going to write a book that people are going to be buying for the rest of my life. I'm not going to write a song or an album. I can't even sing, like I can't play an instrument. Like, I got kicked out of chorus class in middle school because I was disruptive, so like,
you had to fall back
I wasn't going to make like a platinum album that people were going to buy for 20 years. So like, show me another way where normal people can create that. I haven't seen.
No, exactly. You're completely right. I was just gonna mention one more thing about you were talking about when you weren't competing with anybody. And I was actually on a call on Tuesday with Marcel Niederhauser. Is that how you say it? And he said, yeah. And he said, you have to play to win, and you can't play to not win. Like, you cannot play to not lose. You have to always play to win. As soon as you play to not lose, when you're in competition, is the sure time when you will lose. So always just play to win and don't compete. So that was a good tip for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, we both played sports in college, and it's like if you're any athletes out there, if you ever played a game, if you have like a sort of like a sore ankle or something, you're playing to like not get hurt. That's when you get hurt, when you're not going full speed. So I equate that to like, having like, okay, we'll do this for 2 years, and if we're not elites by then, we're going to quit. Like, having that exit strategy is kind of like playing not to win or playing not to get hurt. Yeah. You got to go all in. You know what I mean? We've seen it with people time and time again, people are sometimes almost too comfortable to go all in, you know what I mean? In their everyday lives and their career.
Yeah. Which is why you got to keep going back to your why. I mean, and honestly, some people, they don't have a why that's really inspiring enough. And I don't know whether it's because everyone's got pain. I don't really think most people want to be at their job or away from their family as much as they are, or doing things. I mean, I just don't think most people want to go to their normal jobs where they're spending time around people that are kind of random, right? I mean, the people that you choose to spend your life with are your husband, or your wife, or your kids, or your parents, or your siblings. But then you go to work 8 or 9 hours a day with these other people that are not your family. It's like, why would you want to, if you could choose to spend your time with somebody, why would you want to always have to be with them for the rest of your life till you're 70 years old? So I believe that more people do want this option. I don't think that they believe it's real. And that's to me is a shame. That's why I think you need to get to every event and go meet those people and like find out that like we're real, you're real. Like, there's Amish people doing this. I mean, come on, like there's every excuse taken out of the book, you know, it's like, but.
No, my husband Garrett came with to, where were we? South Carolina. And there was the Amish there. And he was like, no way. I'm like, anybody can do this. Anybody can. So.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, my cats are just.
Garrett in Ireland, by the way. He's awesome.
What's that?
I had a lot of fun with Garrett in Ireland, by the way. He's awesome. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Tell him I said hi.
Okay.
Everybody.
Anyways, thank you guys so much. I'm actually just gonna unmute everybody. If anybody, okay, so Heather and Laura, I couldn't, there we go. Maybe. You guys will have to unmute yourselves. Heather and Laura, if you have any questions, I couldn't unmute you. But does anybody have any questions for Ray and Samantha? You start.
Or they could type it in the chat if anyone has. No one
Yeah,
ever
good.
no one has questions on the spot. It's like all of a sudden you can't think of anything. No. It's
Okay.
Well, we're so happy that you asked us to be here, and you know, anytime, like we just want this for so many people, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. No, thank you so much. Like I said, your story is very inspirational, and I think a lot of people need to hear it. So I'm so happy that you guys were able to hop on, and I guess we'll just wrap it up. So have a great night.
Dropped in the chat. Oh, thank you, Sharon.
Thanks, Sharon.
Okay. Anybody else? We're good. Okay. Perfect.
Right.
Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone. Have a good night.
Good night.
See you, Laura. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.
See ya.
See you.